live, go live, go live. I am live, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming back to another episode of Mountain Bike Q&A. I'm your host, Johnny U. This is actually, I think, my 40th episode. Oh my God, I'm over the hill now. How exciting. This is so exciting. I'm glad I have who I have on tonight. You know him, Jared from Cure Cycling. You know, I was telling my wife not too long ago when I was coming up to the 40, I said, you know, I kind of want a big guy. I want a big guy for my 40th. And gosh darn it, I got it. I'm not going to do any more intro stuff because I'm going to bring Jared on. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared, Cure Cycling. Thank you.
It is I. It's funny that you refer to me as big. That's not something that I think of, but I'll take it. Let's go with it.
As we talked before earlier, to me, you are, because I'm such a fan of your show or your channel that I'm just like, you know, I've got somebody here. It feels good to celebrate.
That means a lot, man. Thank you. It's an honor to be here for number 40. I didn't realize that you've been doing it that long. So that's sweet.
Oh, I could be doing it more, but like I said, this is a little hobby of mine. And I try to keep it to one every 2 weeks because, you know, life.
Yeah, that's a good number. That's a really good number.
Ladies and gentlemen, Trail Monster. He's saying, hey.
What's up, Trail Monster? How you doing?
And here we go. This guy, my boy.
Mike.
Put your hands together for Mike Mitchell.
He's a beast.
He is.
He can out-pedal any of us. It's shameful. He puts us to shame for real.
Have you ridden with him?
Yeah. He comes down to this area occasionally, and when I can link up with him, we haven't had good luck lately, but when I can, I'll go ride. And yeah, he's got some pedaling legs on him.
Well, now I'm really jealous.
Yeah, you should make it out here sometime, man. We have a good time.
Well, Mike, you know why he's fast? Because before he bikes, he runs.
Makes sense. I was wondering what the run part came from.
Ladies and gentlemen, gosh darn you, Finland.
3 a.m.
3 a.m. in Finland.
Go to
bed. No, I really appreciate your support, Fractured Rider.
Yeah, super cool.
You're killing me. Trail Pimp, as always. Well, yes, we do this to Trail Pimp.
Thank you, sir.
Do you know Austin Dahmer?
I do. Yeah, he's a friend from Louisiana, so he's checking in.
Nice.
He came up here recently. We had a chance to ride, so it was a good time.
Nice. So how you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Staying busy. Bikes Online's keeping me really busy. Got a couple things that I'm working on for my personal channel as well, so just staying busy.
Yeah, that's great. So you're a mountain biker, hence being on this channel.
Indeed.
You said before we were talking, folks, before you guys came on, you lived in New Orleans for 30 some years?
Yeah, almost 32. Right before I turned 32, I moved here. I actually live over the state line in Missouri. It's a lot cheaper, but I'm down in Bentonville pretty much every day, riding, filming, and stuff like that.
What's the riding down in New Orleans like?
Not very good, but an hour and 30 north of New Orleans, there is a solid bike park that's been under development over the past couple years called at the Bogachito State Park. That's pretty substantial. They put a lot of energy and heart in it. So that's where I was riding before I left.
And what possessed you? Hold on. I have to bring my wife on. She is the number one fan.
Hello, wife.
Hi, honey. Thanks for the support. So you lived in Louisiana. At what point did you go? I can't. I've got to go full steam.
So, well, there's layers to that question. So in 2020, I was still in Louisiana, but that's when I quit working a corporate job and was like, okay, I'm going to try to make a name for myself in the cycling world somehow. Mm-hmm. So that's when I started working the YouTube channel really hard, as well as like start doing a lot of repairs and stuff like that on mountain bikes on the side, just to kind of like float the bills and stuff like that. But it wasn't until 21, the end of 21, that we decided we were going to move away. Because 21 was a tough year. Had the Hurricane Ida. Yeah. That was rough. And then right after that, I had a really bad wreck that totaled my truck out on the way home from the trail system that I was just talking about. And
Mhm.
it got to a point that it felt like Louisiana was kicking me and my wife out. And around the same time, she took a major promotion in Joplin, Missouri, which is only an hour north of Bentonville. So I was like, this is it. We got to go.
Wow. So
Yeah.
it just kind of all came together.
Yeah. The dominoes fell like literally in a month's time. And it was absolutely insane. Like it was definitely meant to happen. That's my mom.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. That's my mom checking in.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Mom. That's awesome.
She knows the tale. She observed it firsthand.
And you were like, but did you, but you started your channel in Louisiana.
I did. Yep. Yep. In 2020, I think, maybe 2019. I have to go back and check. It's all
Yeah.
kind of a blur. But yeah, I started in Louisiana and just focused mostly on like reviews at the time.
Yeah.
That's how I got it started, and it was kind of funny how it all worked out because like I didn't have any connections with brands or stuff like that, so it was really just like working my personal network. Like, oh, I have a buddy that has this bike. This bike's relevant. Hey, buddy, can I borrow it for a
Oh,
weekend? And that's what I did for a while, just borrowing people's bikes and reviewing them. So that was a hustle in itself.
really back then, because I mean, I've spoke to some people, other people that have reviewed bikes, and they literally will buy the bike and then ride it for a while and then sell it to help fund the next bike, which could be like a month later. So you were just like,
Yeah.
yeah, hey, dude, can I use your bike for some content?
Yes,
Oh, that's
exactly,
awesome.
exactly. Sometimes I'd trade or something like they may need their tires converted tubeless or something like that, and be like, yeah, no problem, I'll do it. But let me review your bike, that sort of thing.
Oh,
So
and,
it was a challenge for sure.
what's your background in bikes? Because Mike here says your secret power is to be able to tell whatever comes in any bike, and
Yeah,
also name any part on a bike you see on the.
I'm a tech nerd. I just like when I get into something, I get into it hard, and that cycling is no different. Mountain bikes, like I don't know, I just kind of fell in love with it and learned everything as quickly as I could. But the reason why I was able to or the reason why I got good at working on them is because in Louisiana there is no mountain biking support.
Yeah.
So rather than like trying to find a tech who I trusted to work on my bike, I was like, I'm just going to have to learn how to do it myself. And then eventually I became a resource for the local mountain biking scene. Like a lot of people wanted their bikes worked on, and it was a way for me to, like I said, float the bills. So I was like, yeah, I had bikes rolling in and out of my parents' house for a while, that I
Oh my
was just like
gosh.
upgrading and hooking up, making videos about. It was interesting.
So that's how you kind of started this. Cure Cycling was like, let's do what I know. I know how to fix bikes. I know how to review bikes. I know what's on a bike. I know
Yeah.
what I like.
Yeah, kind of. If I told you I had a definitive plan, I'd be lying. It was kind of just
Just kind of,
picking directions and running. You know what I mean?
oh
Um,
wow.
so yeah,
That's
that's kind of how it worked out.
and when did the steam start picking up for
Um,
the Cure Cycle? Let's cycle back, if you will. I always do this.
yeah, there's a few like defining moments that really like that I would say changed the game. One of which was that so during a hurricane, a buddy of mine was displaced. He was having a bike that was going to be delivered at his house, but he wasn't home. He was because of a hurricane. He was somewhere else. He's like, hey, look, I can't pick up my bike. It's stuck at a like a FedEx hub. I need somebody to go sign for it and pick it up. And like, maybe we can link up and you give it to me later. I was like, yeah, fine, man. Like, I'll go grab it for you. No problem. But again, I'm going to review your bike. It was a Polygon. It was a Polygon D5. He's like, yeah, no problem. You can go ahead and assemble it, make some content on it, and I'll see you in a couple months or whatever. So I put the bike together, did an initial review. That's the Polygon D5. If you were to go back and look at my videos, and that video did really well for some reason. I think it was just because it's a full suspension that was under $1,000, which is kind of like unheard of.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are curious about it. And that video did well. And what was interesting is Bikes Online took notice of it. And
Really?
that's kind of how the whole Bikes Online thing started. It started as early as the very beginning. But by the time 2021 rolled around is when they offered me a bike, Polygon T7. They were like, hey, you killed it with the D5 videos. We want to see you do it again. We're going to send you this T7 for free. Do exactly what you did with the D5. And yeah, let's have a repeat. So I did it, and that performed well. And yeah, that snowball just continued to roll until this year, 23. They're finally like, okay, we finally set aside a budget to actually have you be a part of Bikes Online, and you're just going to create our content for the States.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I mean, Bikes Online came to you early on, and I remember I started looking at polygons during the pandemic
Yeah. Oh man, that was a wild time. Booming
because
time.
bikes weren't around.
Yeah, but Polygon had them, and then like I think it was July of 21. I think that was a defining moment in the Bikes Online saga because um, the inventory of the T7 finally shook loose, and I had just made those 2 videos. So in like a couple of months' time, I had accumulated like $250,000 worth of sales, and they were like, "This guy's crazy," you know what I mean? It was just perfect timing. Like it was pure luck. You know, a lot of this is luck oriented. Obviously, I made the effort, but there's a lot of great people out there making the effort. There's always that strange X factor timing element that makes things explode. And luckily, I got to ride that wave once.
Yeah, you got in on it early.
Yeah, ish. You know,
Ish.
obviously the real early adopters are the, you know, your single track samplers, your BKXC, your Sets Bike Hacks, people like that.
But I mean, like you're getting in on the polygon craze.
Yeah. I think Phil, who's over at Bikes Online, they refer to me and like the creators that launched around the same time as third wave mountain biking YouTubers.
Wow.
So I'm in the third wave.
Well, good for you. I got a third waver on the channel right now, ladies and gentlemen.
How about that? Does that make it's like a C-list celebrity?
Brett Hall is on Unspoken here saying, hey, let's take it back even further. Cure Cycling.
Mm-hmm.
The ride is the cure.
Yes. Okay. So you want to know how the name originated?
Let's talk a little bit where that came from, because we all know, like I put in your description down below, is no truer words could have been spoken.
Yeah. So there's layers to that onion as well. There's always kind of like multiple reasons behind things. But Cure Cycling originally was a name based around me leaving the corporate life because I was miserable. My corporate job was absolutely horrific, and I was having the soul sucked out of me. So this entire venture was originally about curing me,
Nice.
but then it moved into, you know, okay, well, you know, I'm starting to work on a lot of bikes, so I'm curing these bikes, you know, getting them all dialed in. But as time pressed on, we decided to like kind of dive in with that moniker a little more. So in 21 and 22, a portion of the YouTube revenue that we accumulate was being donated to Project Semicolon, which helps people suffering with depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But for 23, I and my patrons had agreed on donating to something else. So it's kind of morphed a little bit. Now we're donating to Pedal It Forward, which helps people who don't have access to bikes to get on bikes here in the Bentonville area.
Wow, there really are layers with you.
Yeah. It's ever changing. It's always changing.
Trail Pink corporate jobs sucks. He works from home. What was that corporate job that just took your soul and was juggling with it?
So I won't name the company because I feel like that's rude, but I will say the nature of the business. I worked in car rental.
Okay.
Just absolutely awful, especially during the pandemic. Like so just to give you in a nutshell what my day looked like, we would walk in on any given day and have 80 reservations for rental cars, and we would have 0 cars to rent on the lot. So we had to find cars and get them there and put out all these emotional fires with all these disgruntled customers. It was just unbelievable. Like, it's unbelievable what would go on. It was killing me.
Yeah, I've had that incident. We went to, where did we go? We went to Sedona. That's a wine place, right? Mm-hmm. Not Sedona. What's the big one?
Where?
Not Sedona. That's in Arizona. What was the wine place in California? Napa.
There you go. I hear Napa.
And I had rented. I went and rented a car on. You know, you go on and you do the online.
Yep.
And we got there, and the line was like a Disney park line,
mm-hmm.
and it was like a nothing name. It was like Gary's Car Rentals or something like mm-hmm. that. It was just a no name because I got it cheap. That's me. And I feel you. The line, they had no cars, and there was a line, and I said, I'm going to go over here. There's no line over here. And I just
Right.
rented a car like that. But
Yeah, but
yeah,
there's a silver lining to anything. I mean, with that, it was one of those situations, and I'm sure other people can find the same silver lining if they choose to, is that you don't know how good something is unless you know how bad things can be. And that place was just so bad that it made me thankful for pretty much anything else in life. So that's always good.
now was quitting was one of those, it was one of those things where your wife goes, wait a minute, what?
She was all in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was all in. Yeah, she was working a job that could take care of all the bills, and she's like, "Look, I want you to be happy because she could see that I was turning into a zombie, and she's like, give it a shot. Like 6 months, a year, we'll give it a little bit of time and see if you can make things work. And if not, then maybe you'll have to look back into getting a job. But so far, I haven't had to, and it's been 3 years, so that's cool.
I think this is Fractured Rider's tagline when he starts a channel. Do you have a channel? Mountain bike
It looks
is
that
my
way.
mountain bike is my Prozac. It's tagline right there because I think it's all of ours Prozac. Man, I get on the bike and it's just right there.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's there.
Yeah, you're just in the moment, and I think it's just really there's a lot of like therapeutic aspects to it, from the ASMR of the tires on the dirt to actually being in nature. Collecting your vitamin D from the sun, and we're meant to be outside. I mean, it's obvious.
I love it. So you started doing this. You were going on YouTube, and how far into it was like, okay, it's got to start picking up steam. Was there a point when you were doing this, you quit your job, you're like,
it's kind of always like that. Like whenever you venture into like I guess you'd call it entrepreneurship, or just trying to like make this happen on your own without being under, another business's, you're always questioning it. I think that's natural. But there were some very encouraging things that happened along my journey. Like one of which was buying Seth's bike and having that video that he made about me. We got like 5,000 subscribers in a day. That was pretty mental.
What?
Yeah, that was wild. But I wouldn't say it was all wins on that front, because a lot of those subscribers, like, they subscribed and then they never commented, viewed, or liked a video again, and it kind of actually hurt me in a way. But it's all a learning lesson, and there's a lot of wonderful people I met from that. Cobra Kyle being one. Shout out Cobra Kyle. We're good pals now. He lives out here now too, and we ride a lot, and he's a fellow creator. So
that's crazy. I get excited when I get like 5 more subscribers. You got like 5,000 in a day.
Yeah, well, it hasn't happened like that again in a very long time. But those are the moments that we're talking about, that like, okay, maybe this can work.
And you, this is the creator side, and I know a lot of everyone on this thing creator, but people don't understand what goes into create. Some people don't understand what goes into creating it. It's a lot of work, and especially from somebody who was doing car rentals.
No, yeah.
Now you've got cameras, you've got lights, you've got angles, you've got scripts. Was this natural for you, or did you have someone to look up to, or map yourself with? And
I think I had some underlying skill there, but it does, like anything, you have to, practice makes perfect. Repetition. If you go back and watch my first video, I actually haven't taken that video down because I love to use that as a reference point for people that are thinking about starting to make content. It's a pretty awful video. It was filmed entirely on my phone, edited entirely on my phone, uploaded. The audio wasn't very good. I wasn't looking into the camera lens. Like, it was just awkward all around. But over time, it grows. And yes, to answer your question, I absolutely leaned into people who are better at wherever I am in life. I still do it today. I lean into people and ask them questions for advice. Somebody who's further along in their journey. For example, Kyle Warner, a great resource for me. I ask him a ton of questions, and he's very receptive and very kind, and has helped me in my growth a lot in, like, let's say, the past year or so.
Yeah, because I just jumped into this, and I have a couple of friends that do podcasts, and I've made friends that do podcasts through this.
Yep.
But yeah, I can make videos, but I do that on the daily as a photographer. So I wanted to do something different. I wanted to bring people's stories together, and I do that as well daily. But I'm like, this is new, this whole podcast thing. So it's great to have people to lean on and learn from, and
Sure.
you get Kyle. I mean, come on. I saw
Yeah.
watching a video. It was about the Suntour forks.
Yeah.
And
He got me lined up with them, which was really nice of him to do that. He put in a good word, and yeah, now Suntour and we have a pretty solid relationship. I'm sure you saw that bike that I just finished. Also equipped with Suntour, so they've been really good to me.
Nice
So
little
yeah,
dirt bumper.
yeah. Well, actually, it's a trail bike, but I made
Oh.
it single speed. Yeah, so it's going to be a riot.
Zach's in the house saying, "What's up, party people?" My sister, gosh darn it, your mom came on, my sister came on.
Oh, that's awesome. Have family coming in. Yeah, I love that. I hope that no matter how big my channel gets, that my family still stops in. I think it's great.
That's awesome. So you become a creator, you start picking up steam, and now you decide to go to the mountain bike mecca. Were you just like, you're with your wife? Does your wife ride?
She does. She rides trail with me because she wants to hang out. But I think if she was to pick a discipline that like strictly caters to her, it would be gravel. She loves the gravel bikes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So now you moved to near Bentonville, Northwest.
Correct.
Arkansas.
Yeah, about 25 minutes out in Missouri.
So how excited were you when you were like, we're doing this, and now my content is it can only grow from being in Bentonville?
There was a lot of excitement, but there's also like an element of disappointment too. And I know that sounds weird, but like you move out to a place like this, you have an expectation for how things could go or things should go. And when that expectation isn't met, it can be met with a letdown. But that's kind of like, now we're starting to get into like my personal philosophies. I've learned, don't have any expectations. Like that was my fault, my bad, you know?
You're going to get let down.
Yeah. So I try not to have any expectations now moving forward, and just kind of like let things be what they are, and try to find contentment within that moment for whatever it is, if that makes sense.
Wow, you're helping me out. Should pay you for a therapy session.
Yeah.
I live in Miami, and I think about wanting to move every single day of my life.
And I mean, that's great. But yeah, like the truth is like, it's not going to, whatever is going on, it's probably not going to solve it. Like you just have to find contentment in the here and now, and then take that with you when you move.
The temperature might change. That's the one
I don't know, dude. We're going to be at 102 tomorrow.
Ugh.
Yeah, it seems hot pretty much everywhere.
Oh gosh, I didn't think it really gets that hot out. I thought we were the only people that experience.
No, dude.
Stupid heat.
Last year, we had a month where we stayed over 100 degrees. All the grass was dead. It was wild.
Oh, because you see that map on the weather person comes out, and then you see the map, and Florida is just devil red, and the rest of the country is a little bit something else. But
yeah,
I guess you guys feel it. We just get more humidity. We never go over 100.
Yeah. No, humidity is rough.
Oh God, I'm just sweating talking to you. So you get to Bentonville, you move the family. You're good distance away from your family.
I am 10 hours.
And stuff. Are you? Do you get back a lot? Do they miss you? I mean, you said you lived there.
We went down there a good bit in 22, but we have not gone down this year. But they have come to visit me, which has been great. So
yeah. How do you feel that your channel has changed since you've been to Bentonville? I mean, there's probably more ride videos.
So in 22, I don't feel like I had an opportunity to water my channel as much as I would have liked. I worked a lot with Rich Drew, if you're familiar with his operation. I was his filmer and editor in 22, so I was really busy with that. But having switched to the Bikes Online front, I do have a little bit more time for my channel. And with the connections I made, again, with people like Kyle Warner and a few others, I'm gaining a much stronger sense of direction and gaining a much stronger understanding of how to write and how to create topics and just everything that makes a solid video. And if you look at the recent stuff, you can kind of see that shift just going from the SR Suntour video to the video prior. So like I'd been learning a ton, and then finally got to put it into action with the SR Suntour video, and it performed.
Okay, I want to tell you, you were talking Rich Drew.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, because Bentonville, we can talk about it all day.
Mhm.
You did the drop the hammer.
I did. Yeah, I do it
And
all the time.
that's what everyone, not me, and never will. I don't think so. But
I felt the same way. So Bentonville is very transformative in terms of skill. I've learned exponentially more, and like as far as being a good rider in a year and a half of living here as I did 5 years in Louisiana. Like your environment is everything, and
yeah,
this area just lives and breathes mountain biking, and you see incremental progress. It's like watching water boil. You don't really see anything happening at first, but then like it's like, oh wow, like I didn't case this jump today, and like, oh wow, I'm hitting a bigger jump. Oh wow, this jump doesn't scare me anymore. I need to go bigger. Like it just slow progress, and things just start to happen.
yeah. I guess you're right. You're a product of your environment and who you ride with and who you hang with.
Hmm.
Um, I really found that video inspirational because we have a trail 8 miles from my house, and they have a drop section like where you were learning on.
Yeah,
It's 2 feet, 4 feet, 6 feet, but it's almost, and I hope they're not watching or will watch. It's almost to flat.
yeah. That's how the ones
It's
were at the rail yard that I was practicing, and I would argue now that I've done it all, like done all those drops, the smaller ones were sketchier, harder. Just I don't see the point of me ever going back and doing those again. I don't like them. Drop the hammer is
really
way
just
yeah.
like,
Drop the
nope.
hammer's way smoother and way easier. It's
Yeah,
just big.
I did the 4 foot one when I first got my last bike. I just sold it last night. It was a hardtail,
I think I
and
saw that. Yeah, it was
it
a
was
Trek.
a specialized
Oh, specialized.
rock hopper.
Okay, it was
'Cause
black.
I've been riding for 27 years, and I've always had a hardtail. I'm like, well, what do I need to change it up? And then I went full suspension.
You got an Izzo, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's a
a-
great bike.
and once my first ride, I'm 51 years old. Once
Mhm.
I was like, I don't hurt the next day.
Yeah,
It's a whole different world. So I got rid of it.
way better on your knees and ankles.
Everything. But I was on a hardtail, and I did the 4 foot one, and I almost went over because it was flat and I didn't get enough speed because there's not a big run up to it. And
Yeah, I had similar experiences with the Izzo just because of the limited travel. You definitely on that bike, you definitely don't want to oversend a drop and like come in heavy on the fork because the bike will like get squirrely and weird.
yeah. But no, that was a very inspirational video. Did you get a lot of great feedback on that one?
I still do actually. People will recognize me from that series of videos out on the trail, and we'll talk about it a little bit. And normally it's people who haven't done the drop yet, so I'll offer if they want to go hit it. I'll be happy to tow them in, stuff like that.
Right, and you were working with Jess the maker.
Yeah,
And
I'm still pretty like I'm buddies with Jess. We still like touch base every so often. Like I went to her YouTube channel launch party just the other day, and it was a good time. She's a great person.
Rich Drew, he's a coach.
He is a coach slash YouTuber
Yeah,
slash businessman.
nice. So
Yes.
you're learning a lot from him on the other side as well, probably.
Yeah, I learned a good bit from him. I don't do much with him anymore, and that's not
Yeah.
for any particular reason other than the fact that he's doing his thing and I'm kind of doing mine with the bikes online stuff. So 23 has been different, but we spent a lot of time together in 22.
Now, did he come to you or did you come to him to do the drops?
That was his idea. I wanted to do it, and he wanted to document it and kind of like prove to his audience that it can be like how to work up to it.
Yeah.
So it was his idea, and he kind of threw it on me pretty hard. He's like, "Hey, look, it was a Monday." He's like, "Hey, look, I want to do the Drop the Hammer series. You're going to drop the hammer tomorrow." I was like, "Okay, so we'll see about that." It ended up being 2 days away, not one, just because we ran out of time filming the first couple videos. But yeah, he sprung it up on me pretty hard.
I love that you were just like, I'm not even going to run up to it.
No, there's no point. I mean, we tell
Put your
ourselves to do
headphones-
stuff like that because we want to mentally give ourselves an out. We want to give ourselves a reason to not do it. Like it's just self-preservation, right? So I didn't want to water that at all.
That is such good advice, Jared.
It's true though.
Holy
It's true.
Because it's so easy to talk yourself out of it.
It is.
You
And
just
like
walk-
in the case of my story, like the drop scared the heck out of me. Like I had sweaty palms the night before, but I had to keep reminding myself that I've I've done the reps. We've got the prerequisite skills. Check. I've got 3 coaches that are going to be present. Like they're
Yeah.
not going to let me fail. Like the circumstances will never be better. So I was like, I just need to get it done. And now it's so funny. Like, the first time I hit the drop, it was okay, full face helmet, knee pads, long pants. I was in a hoodie and gloves. Like, you couldn't see an
Yeah.
inch of my skin, like a square inch. I was completely covered up, ready for war. And now I'll go out there with, shorts, no knee pads, half shell, and just whoop, no problem. Like it's crazy how the brain adapts, like once the self-preservation realizes that, hey, you've done this hundreds of times now, like it's nothing. So it's cool how the
Awesome.
mind adapts.
I got to ask about this drop the hammer thing. Have you seen Rex? Because
I've heard of Rex.
okay.
I've heard of 2.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think I may have seen one video of somebody going OTB on it, but it's really uncommon. And I find that in the instances where somebody fails, it's because they're one of those people, one of those really rare breeds that they're like all confidence and no skill.
It's no skill.
Yeah. But I mean, even if you only if you hit drop the hammer with even 50% of a perfect rep, you're going to roll out. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, I heard it. I was watching, I guess it was a Seth video or somebody's video where they said it's so well built.
Yeah. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Where you're going to land, you're going to land.
It's almost like if you drew a perfect arc on a piece of paper, all they did was just erase a section of it. So where the beginning and end is, it's that same arc. It's just perfect. You just roll off.
It's just that it's like 10 feet high.
Yeah, 10 at the smallest. If you oversend, you're looking at 12, 14, 16. Just depends how fast, how deep you go in.
I get giddy going 4. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Welling. He's late.
Chicken Cindy's. I know this guy. We're friends on Facebook.
Look at him. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, very cool that he's checking in.
Coming in. And my boy, Josh. So, where I told you the train derails. It's going to come back.
We were on Drop the Hammer.
Drop the hammer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about all these bikes that you get with your channel, that you get to drop the hammer. You get to go to the rail yard. You get to go to, what is the castle?
Yeah. Yeah. So you want to talk about the bikes?
Yeah. How do you get the bike? You had all these different bikes before Bikes Online. You said you were borrowing, but before
Bikes Online, I was buying bikes. Yeah. But I would send email proposals to try to see if I could scrape up a discount or something like that. And sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't. It just depended. But yeah, prior to Bikes Online, my bikes were an Izzo and a propane.
I think.
And I just caught deals on those 2. Yeah, I just paid retail.
I really love. I rewatched your Izzo one again, and how much, because I know I bought one, and I've got some friends who have, and I was so happy with the purchase for what I have down here. You only need like a 130 in the front, 130 in the back.
Yep,
feels so good.
The Izzo is fantastic, and like if I was, if I wasn't affiliated with Bikes Online and riding like pretty much just Polygon right now, that bike is of high regard in my mind. Although I probably would switch the fork to a 140.
The front?
Yeah, I would make it like a 140, 130, kind of get it more in that mid-travel trail bike range, right, as opposed to a longer limb down country, if you will.
Before Bikes Online, because we're going to get to them, because I know that you're affiliated. What was one of your favorite bikes besides, you say Izzo, but you've had a lot of bikes.
Yeah, if I was to summon, let's say 3 bikes of my past, the Izzo would definitely be in that top 3. Da Vinci Troy was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And aside from that, honestly, it would be my Polygon T7. That bike was amazing. The Siskiyou T is such a good chassis. And I say that as a mountain biker, not as a Bikes Online shill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to tell you,
I have a lot of conviction for that chassis. It is so good.
I was really looking, and we'll switch gears to that now. Is I was really looking into Polygon
They
and
make some really
the
solid stuff.
T7 and the T8. I was kind of back and forth on those. I
Yep.
think I've watched a million reviews.
Yeah, the T8's incredible. That's the Siskiyou T that I have right now, and I beat the pants off of it, and it's bone stock, and it just keeps ticking. That thing is amazing.
Now you're a gearhead. Have you ever kept a bike stock?
The T8 is stock. The only thing that's different on it right now is the tires. But that's just because like I push the bike pretty hard, and it comes spec'd with 2.6s, which are too wide for me. Around corners, it was rubbing the frame, so I put
Oh,
2.4s. And to answer Keo's MTB Adventures, no, I do not have the
yeah.
propane tie. In fact, a neighbor of mine bought it, so I still see it regularly. But
That's
no, it
fine.
is not in my possession.
So now you've moved on to buying the bikes.
Mhm.
To did you reached out? I know we talked about this before we went live. Did you reach out or did they reach out to you?
Bikes Online proposed
Bikes
to
on.
me about being the creator for the states this year, the beginning of 23. And along with that, that's when they were like, "Yeah, well, we're gonna, you know, pay you X, give you X in terms of bikes." The long-term demos, by the way, they do go home eventually.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I'm good with that for the most part because it's like I don't keep bikes that long anyway. Like I, even when I owned them, I would just sell them anyway, you know. So whether or not I get to keep them is not really that big of a deal. I get to ride them while they're relevant and fresh, and that's awesome.
That was a question. I wanted to know if you got to keep them.
I
Because I know
can,
Mike, Run Bike Mike gets stuff from them.
yeah, I can choose to keep it, but then I believe I would pay like an EP on it, like an
Uh-huh.
employee price.
And then you've got to fill your house with 20 bikes and you don't.
Yeah, we have an obscene amount of bikes here right now for our tiny house.
How many bikes you got right now?
I have 8 right now,
Oh my
but our
God.
house is only 900 square feet, so they're
Oh,
everywhere. They're in the laundry room, they're in the dining room, they're in the bike room.
my wife.
There's one behind me.
I've got my wife. I bought my wife an e-bike and it's in the living room right now
Yeah.
because I live in a duplex. It's a good sized duplex, but there's a it's underneath the stairs outside. There's a door, and that's why I had to get rid of that bike last night. My Specialized because I've got to get her. I got to get this bike out of my living room.
Yeah, no, I get it, man. Luckily, again, Christine is extremely accommodating, and hasn't really given me too much trouble. I think that we would probably run into some issues if they sent some more though. Like we're capped. There's no way I could take another bike because she's got 2 personal bikes, and then I've got 2 that I'm claiming as personal bikes here, and then 6 that are bikes online.
It's just like she's like, you got another box. Another box came.
Yeah,
Where are we putting it?
yeah,
That's
it's wild.
MTB Alex up in the house. What's going on, brother? Oh, here we go. Trail Pimp. I don't know.
That's a good question. The Mount Bromo actually got discontinued. It's been remonikered under the Colossus N8E. I don't have that bike. I have the T6E, which is based off the Siskiyou T platform in e-bike form. So hopefully that answers your question. But if you have more, send them through.
we we talked about this earlier. Being a creator, are you having fun with it?
Of course. Yeah, I mean it's
Is
fun,
it
but
a
like anything, there's always trade-offs, you know, that people just assume that it's heaven on earth, but it's not. You know, like there are aspects of it that are very real. Like um we don't get paid that much. Like, yeah, I've got a lot of time to ride, but time is money, right? So with all this extra time, there's less in the money category. You know what I'm saying?
yeah?
So it's like it's different for everybody, but some people may find that it's better to sell their time for the money, or some people would rather have less money and have the time. And you know, it's fun, but it's not without challenge, if that makes sense.
What part of the creating gets you going? Do you really enjoy the film? I mean, I know it's the biking, but do you like the filming or is it the editing process, the story? Right?
I do not like filming that much because it can be very intense, especially when it's hot like this. Having to hit things like 3 or 4 times to get the right shot. And editing is pretty grueling too. Although if you get in a flow state with it, sometimes you just get lost and it's done before you can even realize you've been doing it. So that those days are great, but some days editing sucks. But honestly, my favorite aspect of it is writing, like writing the script, writing the tale, writing the review, writing the how to, like that. That is where a lot of my creative energy gets uh, dumped out.
Yeah, I can't. Editing for me is one of those. I can't. I can't. I have ADHD. I can't focus for too long. I got to get up and walk around.
Yeah,
I'm going crazy, and then I'm like, that's not where I want it. I get what you're saying about the heat. I did a reel
yeah,
with the clip-in flip flops. I made clipless flip flops,
I saw that.
drenched.
Yeah.
I mean, I was soaking wet, like so. But you got to keep going. You got to.
Yeah, like this past Saturday, we were filming a 4 bike shootout for Bikes Online where I kind of like go through the lineup from cross country all the way to enduro, and filming on 4 different bikes all in one day because like we had to get it done. It got rough. Like once I was on the enduro bike having to like session these same jump lines over and over again in the heat, I was like, I can't do anymore. You'll notice when that video comes out that it has a lot of um, older clips. You'll be able to tell because like the trees have no leaves on them and stuff. I had to use some older clips to fill the timeline because we just ran out of energy and time.
Yeah, I love it. It's like, are we really paying attention to the leaves?
Yeah, like well, they know like that. I keep a
Yeah.
backlog of clips, and they're cool with me reusing it. So Bikes Online is very gracious in that regard. Yeah, as long as it's the right bike, it's all
Which one
good.
did I really like? Which one did you just do? You did a review. You had a demo day with the Rocky Mountain bikes.
Oh yeah, that was before the shift into Bikes Online. But yeah, I did that.
That was just, you could hear the joy in you.
That
You,
was
you, you
that
had,
one was very unscripted, and I knew that like some people wouldn't appreciate that because it's kind of disorganized, but I knew that some people also would appreciate it, and that video did okay actually.
I
Yeah.
really liked. I liked the fact that the e-bike, once you got off the e-bike and went back to an analog, you could hear it in your voice, and I think that's what makes a lot of great pieces in the videos. Is just this natural joy and happiness of
Mhm.
doing what we like doing, and that's riding a bike.
Oh yeah. No, and speaking of, that was another fantastic bike. Not one that I owned, but I was blown away. Was that Rocky Mountain Element? Yeah, they made that bike like a 120, so super lean on the travel side, but slack geometry, long wheelbase. So it's just a wild animal. It's a really cool bike.
Do you have those days that you will create a piece that you're just like, I didn't script it, I didn't plan to do it, but I had a GoPro on me, and gosh darn it,
Yeah,
I put it
it ha-
together because I just had fun.
yeah, it happens. Like I did a lap on Fireline with Matty Active one day, and I was like, I'm just gonna post this because it was such a good lap. He's a really cool guy. I was super stoked that I got a chance to meet him and ride with him when he was in town, and yeah, we just had a fantastic lap on Fireline. I was like, I'm just gonna share this because it's good.
Yeah, it's just, I think something. And do you? And I ask this to every creator: Are there days where you just GoPro? We're gonna stay home.
Yes. No. Yeah. You cannot film every ride. That'll destroy the hobby.
Exactly.
No,
I,
I would say most of my rides are not no cameras come out. I probably ride 4 times a week, and maybe one of those is going to be very intentional. Like we're getting shots today.
oh man, you're living the life 4 times a week. You're a
Yeah,
weekend warrior.
yeah. I trust me, I get it. I live that life.
You're
When I
like
was in Louisiana, honestly, I was lucky to ride once a month. It was bad.
I try to get during the weekend, but I haven't been on my bike in over 6 weeks. Actually, I just went last weekend,
Yeah, that's
and
tough, man.
it's I had a boo boo, and I got back on it, and my lungs were on fire.
Yeah,
So you've got to. What's the climbing like up there? I got to know that because I'm going to
not bad.
California. It's not that bad. You got a lot of good trails, but the climbing isn't.
No, so Bentonville's like real easy in terms of climbs. They build a lot of paved, dedicated climb trails.
I
And like
wonder.
the most elevation you'll face at any given time, like sustained, might be like 350 feet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay. I'm going to have to, like I
But
said,
it's all relative. You know, people from Colorado will come here and like just crush it, but then people from like the flat areas like Texas, Louisiana, Florida, they,
Florida.
yeah, sometimes they'll huff and puff. And I mean, that's okay. Like you're not used to it. And that's what I've had to explain to people when I moved there. It's like, yeah, where I lived, we were at 0 elevation, and the highest elevation our bike park went to was 28. So like 300, that's over 10x.
Oh,
So
gosh darn it. Adam, mountain bike rad dad's up in the joint now. You're bringing them all in. What, so Bentonville, you guys just had a festival.
yes, we did. It was incredible.
Talk to me about that. What was that like? Was parking hard to find?
So I have a connection with Red Bull. So I parked at their Airbnb, which is actually really close to the festival. So I was blessed in that regard. But yes, if you're just an average Joe going there to park, good luck. Good luck.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Was it just ridiculous out there? I mean, was it just
it was wild. I just, man, I wasn't expecting to meet as many like big YouTubers as I did. And like there were just some real fever dream moments that like I couldn't have even like written, you know, like there was a moment where we went to this VIP party the Saturday night of the festival. Kyle Warner had just brought me in with him. He's like, nah, I'm gonna get you in. You just coming in with me. I was like, okay. So I go in and like I'm in this Walton house, okay, and this house is a 9,000 square foot
I heard about
house
this.
which has no doors on any rooms, but instead the hallways are like curved and they're all stone, so it feels like you're underground in like this weird environment. And like within this house, you know, all these famous YouTubers are everywhere. They're all dressed up for whatever retro theme was going on. It was just total fever dream, just so wild being there.
Again, I'm with you got the VIP treatment in Bentonville. You went to the. I've heard about this party. I heard how crazy it was. It was.
It was interesting. Yeah, it was definitely, like I said, it's not something I would have ever imagined.
How was the riding like during that? Because I've seen a bunch of videos and people riding, but I feel like it was just like
I
rush
think,
hour I-95 down here.
yeah, it was really packed on Thunderdome at Kohler, and I think that's probably the footage that you saw because they had a what they call Thunderdome Throwdown on a Thursday night, and literally everybody was there. It was ridiculously dense. But no, you could pretty much ride whatever. Just had to be a little bit more conscious of who may or may not be on the trail because obviously every trail is more populated than normal. But now we got like 100. I got about 100 miles of riding in that weekend, so we were
Wow.
pedaling a lot.
Who now were there just like awestruck? Did you see guys that you've always wanted to run into? And
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, ever since I bought that bike, well, I've always wanted to meet Seth, but after buying his bike, I really wanted to meet Seth, and I had never gotten the chance. And Bike Fest was finally the opportunity, and he was, it was really short interaction because he's so busy, but he was really kind, and he kind of like alluded to the fact that he's been paying attention to my channel and seeing that things have been growing and developing, and that he was proud, and it was just it was a cool moment, really cool.
honestly, I feel for him a little bit sometimes. Like
Yes.
you see his videos from the festival and you're like, he's up early and he's at a trail where like the festival's here, he's shooting over here. He's not
Yep.
even worried.
They kept him super busy, and he was just flying, back and forth, like demoing the bikes that he was supposed to be demoing, et cetera, et cetera. And like if you were paying attention to his stories while he was at the fest, like he's like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm finally getting a chance to ride, and I am getting on a plane to go home in an hour. Like that's how his life is. It is hustle.
Yeah, you kind of feel for him sometimes.
I
I'm
do.
glad
I
I'm a
do. And
little
like
guy.
that's what I was kind of talking to you about earlier before we went live. Is like, it as your channel gains a certain magnitude, there's like this you hit this level of critical mass where it's almost like this can become a prison if you're not careful. And I'm not sure if I want to ever get to that point. Like
Mm,
sure I'm not huge, but like I
you're
can still live my
comfortable.
life and I can still go out and ride by myself for a day and like it won't penalize me.
Yeah, you're comfortable. You can still go ride. No one's like you get. torn
Yeah.
apart. Like just the maker, I'm sure, is gotten probably like that at that point. And
Yeah, she gets pretty busy. She gets pretty busy for sure.
but so you got 100 miles in. What were
Mhm.
some besides the big party? What were some of the highlights during that festival?
So I spent a
Did you-
majority of my time with the SR Sun Tour crew
Mhm.
because I had, just freshly created that relationship with them, and along with that, Kyle and April were in at that tent, so we spent a lot of time with them, and it was just a lot of fun. We're all friends, so it was a good time.
Oh, hey, Chicken Sundays brings it up. So you feel like you can help others and just
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, you can create much more like connected relationships with your audience, being smaller scale, and then at some point, like, you can't pay attention to everybody anymore, and yeah, you do have to make
yeah.
that decision of what you want for your channel.
Again, pedaling back to Seth. Don't want to bring him up too much.
No,
You
no
bought
problem.
his bike. What possessed you? Where you were that much of a fan? You were like, I just got to get.
Well,
I want a piece of this.
I knew that he was gonna make a video about whoever bought it, and I was in
Mhm.
a position where I had an LLC for creating content and stuff like that. So that bike was a write off, So I was like, let's do this.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Is that bike still in your house?
No, it is not.
He's not watching.
No, he wouldn't care. He knows. I mean, I'm 6 foot. He's 5'4". That bike did not fit me. So
Oh,
we did one more rebuild of it. I made it like a dirt jumper type of build. But eventually it got to a point where it was just collecting dust. I was never riding it. And it's really a fantastic little bike, regardless of whether it's Seth's bike or not. And I was like, there's somebody out here that can enjoy this.
enjoy.
So
Put it
I
to
was like,
use.
I'm gonna list it. I'll put the tail. I'll let them know exactly whose bike this is, but I'm not gonna try to price gouge or anything like that. You're gonna pay what this thing's worth. And which wasn't a whole lot. I think I sold it for because I took all the wireless shifting and stuff off of it. It was pretty basic.
Yeah.
I think I sold it for like $1,200. And as far as I know, it is at Ray's indoor park pretty regularly. Like the guy who bought it was buying it to ride at Ray's.
Oh, wow.
So it's still out there
I
doing
mean,
its thing.
you paid good money for it, but it went to a trail
Yes.
for
Yeah. So
you.
that the trail system that I was telling you about earlier at Bogachito State Park, that
Mhm.
5K went into the pot to help develop that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then it was a fun chapter of my life. And like in general, like I'm not very tied to material things. Like it's just stuff. So like it didn't like hurt me or anything to sell the bike and know that someone else is enjoying it. I'm glad it's being used because it was just wasting away here.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bike. It needs to be ridden.
Exactly.
You had that moment of YouTube history in your house.
Yep. Those
And
memories live forever. And like I said, I made some friendships that are still going based off of that decision. So, it served its purpose and it's time to move on.
again, we had Finland. Now we have New Zealand in the house.
That's so cool.
Octo Dad. Yes, he has TVs, folks. He has 8 kids and he has televisions. Let's talk about these friendships. Since you've moved to Bentonville
Mm-hmm.
as a creator, have you been able to create with others? Have you been able to collab? Talk to me about collaborations.
Here and there. So like I just did a century ride on road bikes for Bikes Online, and that was a bit of a collab. Like Kyle joined me for that, and that was
Mhm.
a mission. That was a long ride, but not a whole lot of collabs going on, I would say. In fact, most of the time when somebody like a YouTuber is in town, it's actually more important for me to bring no cameras and be that fellow YouTuber that just wants to go out there and spend time with you and ride, get to know you, like let's be friends
Yeah.
and let's put all that to the side for now and just like enjoy this moment. And that's kind of the approach that I take. Like when I met Maddie Active, I brought a GoPro just in case, like I said, if we got a cool lap in or something like that, or something I could use in a future video. But I did not go out there with the intention of being like, "What's up, everybody? I'm filming with Maddie Active. Check out this collab video." Like
Yeah.
that was not the intention. We just wanted to have fun, and we did.
But I mean,
Fun was had.
fun was had, and that's all you need. What but you have collabed. how is the community out there? Because everyone, I think when you get a house, you get a bike.
Mhm.
Um, is it a tight knit community out there, or is there just so many? I
It's
feel like everybody's riding a mountain bike out there.
everybody rides, which is great, and I think it's a very supportive community, and everyone's all in on mountain biking, which I think is great. But like anything in life, that you could argue, oh, there's cliques and stuff like that, and there's some
Yeah.
of that, but I mean, it's okay. That's life.
Oh yeah, that's anywhere you go. You're gonna.
Yeah, but no, it's a good community, and there's a ton to ride. I like going out though more so during the week when everyone else is at work, when the trails are quiet. I find that that's the most therapeutic time for me.
You get that? Oh, it's Jared.
Sometimes people do recognize me, surprisingly. Like it always catches me off guard because like my channel is like, if you look at the number, it's a decent number. Like 12,000 is a decent looking number, but it's not like huge. So you don't expect to like go out and have somebody like, oh my goodness, it's you. But it happens sometimes, which is always
It's
it's interesting.
it's got to happen because I mean, it's like I said, I don't even live anywhere near where you've ever lived, and here you are. I knew
Yeah,
who
yeah,
you
yeah,
were,
yeah.
and if I saw you, I,
Yeah, but you're in the community, like you're out here where making content and stuff too. So
yeah,
it's
it's kind of my deal now. It's so funny. Like people are like, oh, you know this guy. I spend a lot of my free time watching mountain bike videos on YouTube because at some point I'm hoping to interview you. I got to know some of your content.
yeah, for sure.
Uh, Octodad, New Zealand. What's your look how he spells favorite?
Yep, I see
That's
it. I've got three that I'm actually really excited about.
favorite new
So
bike.
I'll just touch briefly on all of them. So I have the 23 Polygon D7 SE here, which is, I think they're selling it right now on sale for like only $12.99 here in the States, which is absolutely mental. It's a downcountry full suspension bike based off the original D7, but they switched it to a boost front end and stuff like that. And I don't know, that bike it's a slayer. Like I took it out and I was throwing it around, really beating on it, and it is a lot of fun. Like unsuspectingly incredible for the price point. I'm thrilled to have that bike here right now. But the other two, one would be the Siskiyou T6E, which is based on the Siskiyou T platform, but an e-bike. It's my first e-bike that I have in my possession, so obviously that's been really cool. And then the other one is the Marin Elroy, which is a super slack, hardcore hardtail made of steel that I'm stoked
Wow.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, you're a gearhead. You know what you like. You know what parts you like. You like the feel.
Yep.
Um, are you with the Polygon and do you get a lot of Marins? I know you got.
So yeah, I have some
Yeah, you have some
Marin
Marins.
bikes here. And over the course of this year, I've had four, but right now I only have two. Two of them have already been sent back. Because right now Bikes Online is focusing more on the Polygon stuff, which is fine. But I have the Alpine Trail 7 that Bikes Online had sent me. And I just told them they're not getting that one back. Like I plan on buying that one whenever they decide to let me pay for it or whatever.
Wow.
That I really like it, and I've personalized it majorly, so it's not going back. It's not going back. And then the Elroy, the hardtail that I just posted tonight on my Instagram, that one I actually worked out with Marin directly, so that one is mine.
Oh wow. I find do you have? Is there a conflict of interest? Is a problem? They send you a bike, you have a contract, you're making whatever you're working with, and for sort of uh, Bikes Online, are you allowed to just be honest?
I'm always honest. Like,
Okay.
yeah. So, like,
Yeah.
I'm never going to say something about a bike that I don't find true,
Good. I like
because
hearing that.
that's a major conflict of interest for me. Like, I don't want to ever be that guy.
That's I always,
Obviously, we have to tread lightly about how we word things when you're under like a corporate brand like Bikes Online. Like I may be a little bit more blunt and rough around the edges if I would say something on Cure Cycling, whereas like it has to be softened, when you're creating it as work for somebody else. But
yeah.
it's always the same general message, if that makes sense.
I was wondering that. I was a movie critic out in LA, and I worked for a company, won't name anybody, but they had put a movie out and I had to review the movie, and I worked for the same company and I hated the movie. I had to tread so lightly.
Yeah.
And it's almost like, well, do they come to you and say,
Well,
honest opinion?
fortunately
Yeah.
in this realm with mountain bikes, I don't think there's a single bike in this world that I'm going to get on and say, "Wow, I hate this." So that's the good news. But as far as like the bikes that I've been aboard this year so far, like with all the polygons and stuff like that, there's never been a bike that like I didn't at some point learn to get along with. I think the most challenging bike to get along with has been the Colossus N9, but it's just because it's so big. And I mean, but that's okay. You know, it's a
Yeah.
downhill gravity slaying bike, and I don't really live in that terrain. So like it's not gonna shine here like the Siskiyou T would. And that doesn't mean it's a bad bike. It's just that it's not
Yeah.
the ideal application for Bentonville. I'm sure if I brought it out to Colorado, it'd probably be the perfect bike. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I get what you're saying. It is interesting what you're saying. I don't think any of us who've been riding for any amount of time would get on a bike and be like, no, didn't like it. Didn't
No,
have fun. There are certain aspects that you're going to find like, this didn't work for me. I'll just change it out.
correct. Yeah. And the standards have gotten so tight across brands, like for what's considered modern geo, et cetera, that all bikes have gotten good.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you're not gelling with a bike, it's one of two things. It's probably not the bike itself, but the tune, like the way the suspension's set up, or maybe the tire pressure, like the tune of the bike could be an issue. Or two, it could be your riding skills. You know, I used to blame my bikes a lot, but at the time, like back in Louisiana, I would, oh, I need better parts to clear this jump. No, I don't. I just need to become a better rider. Like
Better.
sometimes people blame the bikes too much.
Have you?
I would say bikes are probably 10 to 20% of the battle. 80% is up to 80% is the rider itself, which is why people like Sam Pilgrim can go to Whistler and ride a line on a cruiser bike, because he's got the full 80% there. He can be on the, get 0% from the bike and still clean everything because he's Sam Pilgrim.
Hey, Sam Pilgrim. God, did you see his latest?
With the tennis balls?
Tennis balls.
He's something else.
Stuff that guy does is so unique and original and so far out there.
He's incredible. That's one guy I haven't had an opportunity to meet. I don't know if he'll ever be stateside though, so I don't know if I ever will run into him. But I appreciate what he does. He's a complete, kind of got some loose screws, and he knows it, and it's awesome.
And he plays with it. I mean,
yeah, he just leans into it. My wife's always like, "Why hasn't he gotten his tooth fixed?" I'm like, because he's Sam. Like he doesn't need a tooth.
It works with him. He's crazy.
That's his vibe.
Missing tooth.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sam Pilgrim, are there YouTubers that kind of didn't mold you but inspired you?
Oh
YouTubers?
Yeah, Seth heavy. Yeah, he was probably number one. And if you really watch my content with and his material from like say 2016, 2018, you'll see that I pull a lot of inspo with how I format things.
Really?
Yeah. He's probably the biggest reason. Because I mean, at one point, like I was watching him on TV, let's say 2018. I was like, why can't I do this? Like, why am I not doing this? And then eventually I was like, I'm just going to do this.
He did it. I think he's a South Florida guy. He lived in Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, now he's in North Carolina, but yes.
A lot of his stuff, and I watched him and people still refer him as Seth Bike Hacks.
Yeah, I still watch his stuff from like the 2016 to 2018 era because it's almost like a time machine for me. Like if I ever need to be reinvigorated on why I started doing this, I go back and watch those, and it's like, your comfort series, you watch it just to feel good.
It's funny because I had watched him, and then, there was times that fell away and I stopped watching YouTube or whatever. A buddy said, hey, this guy's here in South Florida. You should watch him. The trails that he did a lot were just 8 miles from my house.
Yeah.
And he did a on how to fall properly. Yeah. And I'm like, this guy's interesting. And then next thing I know, I'm like, I get it back onto YouTube years later. I'm like, Berm Peak, this is the same guy.
Yeah. Yep. And I really love the old stuff. And this goes back to the conversation earlier about smaller channels. I find myself now watching more smaller content because I love that home brewed, I made this myself feel. I don't, not that like Seth's new content isn't good. It's first class, but it just has like it's become a little bit more like corporate turn and burn. And he knows that, like
Yeah.
he's a monster on the scene now. So like, that's fine. That's part of the evolution of getting bigger and gaining that sort of magnitude. But for me personally, I really love that smaller home brewed feel of content.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite creators that I watch religiously, and it's not just because he's my friend, is Cobra Kyle. His stuff's so good, man. So
Gotta
good.
look him up. I've probably run into some of his videos.
He's got a lot of like comedy that if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. It's
Okay.
very like it's dry humor, but if you like the kind of stuff, you'll love it. He's
Dry and under, it's like down here, but you're
yeah,
like, oh, that's funny.
yeah, he's hilarious.
I gotta look him up.
Yeah, he makes really good stuff.
I think you bring up an interesting thing is the homegrown. You get to a certain point, it becomes a show.
Mhm.
It's almost like you could take what he's doing and put it on television, and it's
Yeah,
so produced, it's so well lit, and there's nothing wrong with that.
nothing at all. No, I
Don't get
think
me
it's
wrong.
fantastic that he's made it to that level. I mean, that's where, I would imagine 99% of YouTubers would like to stumble into that at some point.
Yeah,
That's the dream. But yeah.
I do find it interesting that you bring that up because I do like the raw, the
Yep.
guy shooting with his phone.
Yeah, I love a humble video like that. I don't know how to describe it. Like it's almost like the early Seth stuff. It was so underproduced, like especially in terms of audio, that it had like this strange ASMR like comforting vibe to it, and that's just gone. It's not. He doesn't have that element anymore.
Now, well, with you saying that, do you still try to keep your stuff
I have a certain standard
grounded?
for
Yeah.
how I like mine to come off. So I would say that like, I mean, this is just personal opinion, but I think that like where my stuff now is probably more polished than early Seth, because I
Mhm.
lean into more music. Like there's no point in the video normally where there's no music unless I want like an awkward pause.
Yeah.
Um, but
You hear someone breathing while
yeah,
riding.
like it's pretty polished at this point. Like obviously it can always be better.
It's really good. How did you get into the gear? Are you like what are you using? You just
I shoot Canon. I've got a
can
R6, EOS R6 mirrorless, and an EOS R7 mirrorless. That was new for 23. I started on the M50, which a lot of YouTubers use when they're first starting out because it's like a $600 or $700 mirrorless camera that's solid, can record 4K 24 and all this and that.
yeah.
Um, but I moved up substantially in 23 because with bikes online on the horizon, I sold the propane and the ISO and took that money and allocated it for cameras.
Yeah, cameras are so important because I mean I shoot all my little reels with my phone here, and they're reels. But
Yeah,
I do have some ideas for, and I have GoPro and I have a 360 camera, but it's important.
it is.
Like
Yeah,
if
like
somebody's getting into this,
yeah, if you can swing it, definitely get the better camera. Like especially in terms of stuff like my B-roll and of the bikes, it's so polished this year because of the camera gear. Like the onboard stabilization and these higher end cameras and the onboard stabilization of these higher end lenses, it's
yeah.
just out of this world. Like it looks like I'm using a gimbal and I'm not. So I
But
have a super fast workflow. Like I'm not setting up a bunch of stuff. I'm literally grabbing my camera and filming the bike and it just looks so balanced and amazing.
nice. I I'm taking this advice from you because I have a written piece that I want to do. I want to do a review my wife's e-bike that's
Mhm.
kind of mine. Um,
Classic.
no,
The
it's
classic
yours,
move.
honey. It's yours, honey. But it's a
Honey,
commuter e-bike.
why is my e-bike a size large? I don't know.
She I've been thinking a lot about it lately, and I'm like, I think I need, because she's a photographer, still a photographer. She's got a Canon that shoots. What? Oh, here we go. We started. We just stirred up a whole.
All caps.
Honey, what camera do you have? Because I think I want you to shoot my video with that. He's a Canon guy too.
Yeah, if she's shooting Canon, she's probably rocking something pretty solid.
Well, it's a few years old, so
That's
it's
not
not the
bad.
new. But yeah, I think what's funny with you guys. Either you're a Nikon or a Canon guy.
Oh no, in this scene, almost everybody's Sony. Yeah, Evan shoots Sony, Seth is Sony. I'm pretty sure Bobo's Sony. A lot of people are Sony. The only reason I didn't switch to the Sony ecosystem is because I already had lenses and I know how to operate Canon, so I just stayed.
Uh, hey, Mike, I'm telling you, man, life has been busy. I got this stupid finger thing. It's gonna happen, buddy.
Stay on him, Mike.
Yeah, because I told Mike, as I said, I just want to make him proud with from his bike stuff.
Stay on him. No, that's funny. Yeah, 5D Mark IV. So yeah, that's
Older.
not a mirrorless camera. That's a DSLR, but I think it's still
Oh,
pretty solid.
you don't have a mirrorless, honey.
No, I mean DSLR is still good. The lenses do suck you in. She is correct. That like once you've bought like a couple pieces of expensive glass, you're not going to want to leave and get a different brand because it's just you're so invested at that point.
Okay, there was a question I wanted to ask you. Your big gearhead. You had a budget electric shifter.
Oh, the Archer?
Yeah, I
Archer
wanted to
wireless
talk to you
shifter?
about that one.
Oh, that product was super good. I don't have it here anymore
Oh,
because the T7 that it was installed on, like I use it as bait to get the bike sold. So
oh,
it just left with that bike. But no, that product was really good. And the adjustability of it was actually pretty phenomenal. It's cool how like you could shift anything from like 3-speed, if that exists, all the way up to, I think they had it set up to take on like 15 speed, which doesn't exist yet, so like it could do whatever.
yeah, I was pretty impressed with that because you can spend thousands of dollars or close $1,000 and you're rocking that for what, $399, and
Yeah, and you just hook it up to whatever drivetrain you got.
it's
It's definitely a cool product. But the more I ride, the more I take on a less is more mentality. I'll be honest. Like I'm perfectly happy with like a Shimano Deore 12 speed or even a Shimano Deore 11 speed now. I just want something reliable that's easy to fix and cheap to fix that I can just beat on. And the mid range stuff does it well.
so now being a gearhead, what's the do you got to constantly, because you're a content creator too, you're like, oh, I got to get this for this and I got to get this for this bike and let's try this out, or is there an Amazon box or a bike shop box at your front door every day?
Sometimes I go through waves of that. Like if
Yeah.
I go to say, oh, I want to build this bike, and once the first domino falls of a bike build, the dominoes don't stop falling until I've gotten everything I want for it. But there'll be sizable lulls between bike builds. So like the Elroy that I just did, that was there was a lot of packages arriving for that one. Yeah.
There's another box out. Your wife's like, there's another box out by the
Yeah,
door.
she's used to it, but at the same time, there's always stuff going out. So I have a Cure
Oh,
Cycling eBay store where like the new takeoff parts that I decide I'm not interested in, I sell them, and I normally sell them pretty cheap.
oh, nice. Where can we find your extra parts? Is that online somewhere?
It is on eBay, the Cure Cycling store. It's there.
Oh, there you go. Let's sell that, man. Get on a Cure Cycling
Yeah.
eBay.
Yeah, I've got a really good Marzocchi Z1 up right now that I'm surprised nobody's bought. It's brand new, but whatever.
Wow.
Favorite editing software, I use the Adobe suite. So I use all Adobe products. I have the Premiere for video, Photoshop, and Lightroom for photos, and I lean into all of it.
Car rental, corporate guy, Adobe. How did that? Were you bashing your head into the screen of your computer when you first started editing, or did you already have that?
I start like I told you, I started on the cell phone.
Yeah.
Cell phone.
So you got the
And
concept.
I had iMovie that I was using, and iMovie it's like everyone's first foray into editing, and I think my first like 3 videos were on there, and then I can't remember who it was, but somebody's like, look, you got to get off iMovie. Like if you want to take your videos, the Marzocchi Trail Pimp, it's 140 Travel Z1. But anyway, back to what I was saying. If somebody was like, look, if you want to take your videos to the next level, you got to get off iMovie. I think it might have been Evan's MTV Saga because we were coming up around the same time.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, well, fortunately, one of my patrons, who is still one of my patrons on Patreon, he lets me use his Adobe Suite. And it's still been that way. It's been that way for years, and he supports me in that way. He's a great guy.
Nice. But you learned, but it was still like, I mean, because I remember many moons ago when
I'm
I
still
first,
learning.
yeah,
So like it definitely takes time, and I'm always learning new stuff. Like I was on FaceTime probably a few months back with Kyle Warner, and he was teaching me a lot of like ways to speed up my workflow. Because that's one of the things he hammers on. It's like
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that people do on videos that they think people are noticing, like color grading and stuff like that, that you really
Mhm.
don't need to do. Nobody cares, not on YouTube anyway. So like, he was coaching me and teaching me a lot of like hotkeys and stuff to really speed up my workflow. So normally like a full video that I'll put either on Bikes Online or Cure Cycling, I'll churn that out in 4 to 8 hours. So one day is normally all it takes.
I try to color grade everything, even on my phone. If I do a reel, the thing I did today saying I was interviewing.
Unless it's like just straight up off, like you look at it and you're like, ooh, I'm orange or ooh, I'm blue, then yeah, like you might need to color grade it. But like, so like on these new Canons or the new Sony stuff, you can set that to auto white balance, and whatever it captures is normally pretty good. And then like you can hop onto Premiere and just click the auto button in terms of like color grading, and whatever it spits out is normally pretty good. And that's all we do. Like just boom.
How have you gotten your wife into helping you with the
She
videos? Like,
films.
oh,
Yeah, all
really?
the third person shots lately, that's all her.
I was about to ask
She's
you if
getting
you.
very good. Some of the shots she gets are so spot on. Like I'll look at it like, dang, very good. Yeah,
That's
see
fun. I
my
didn't know if you had like another mountain biker out there and be like, or you had one of your friends or another creator pulling the
yeah.
camera for you,
Yeah. See that Mike's chiming in. I'm with you. I never color grade. It takes too much time.
buddy.
100%. Yeah. Like think about how silly that is. Like, isn't somebody going to be on your video and be like, oh my gosh, like this shot totally needs more magenta. I'm out of here. Like, no, like they're not watching it for that. Like this is not, a production for cinema.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I guess with the phone, the automatic iris and all this other weird stuff that
Yeah.
goes on, but with cameras nowadays, even with the GoPro, I've got the GoPro 11. The color is amazing on that.
Yeah, the colors have gotten very good. And I mean, sometimes with GoPro, you do have to watch it though. It can be overbaked and they'll saturate too heavy.
Yeah,
But for the most part, everything's gotten pretty good. And like, I don't want to allocate my energy because energy is finite into a time suck like color grading to perfection. Like what's more important is like your scripting and your audio. You want that dialed. Like that's key. And old Seth is a perfect exemplification of that. The audio is all that matters. I remember when he said it in an interview. He's like, audio's first, clips are second, always. And like just to like reinforce this concept, I watch a lot of Lego channels. I love Lego. That's like another little hobby of mine.
oh
And like a
wow.
lot of the big Lego channels, they just put pictures on screen. Like there's nothing crazy going on visually, but the audio and the scripting that they unpack, like the details verbally, it's
uh
everything. And it's the reason why they're pulling millions of views.
Okay, we're gonna go back a little bit, but you're right with the audio, and as a professional, I realize in this realm, audio is important. When I'm shooting a reel or something on my phone, I don't care. But Bobo just did a whole video, and it's like it's 50% of what you're seeing is the audio.
Yeah, sound is so
And
important.
well,
And
what are you working? What do you got going on with for your audio? We know your cameras now. What do
I'm
you got?
all Rode. I actually have my camera bag here.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
I'm just saying now, for anybody who's watching, this is just for me now. I'm taking
This
advantage.
is the Rode NTG. This is my shotgun. Really good. What I like about this one is that it'll record in two different channels, and one will be 0 decibels, and the other one will be -20. So just in case your 0 decibel channel is like clipping, you can
Uh-huh.
use the other one and still salvage the audio, which is brilliant.
Ladies and gentlemen, he was in car rentals.
And then Rode Wireless Go, but these have been a little bit problematic. They're great.
So big.
They're great mics, but I'm really looking at the new DJI stuff. I've heard a lot of good stuff about their wireless mics. So
yeah, those things are so bulky. I'm so used to wearing miking people up with a lav, and it's on their.
I can still do that. It has a jack if I want to lav it up, but like again, it's about workflow. Nobody's going to turn off my video because my mic is too big on my shirt.
See that? Thank you, because I just bought. Where the fuck is it? It's right here. I just bought, because I do shoot with my phone a lot. I bought, of course, Amazon for my phone. But look at this thing. This is for you guys. This isn't for you folks. I'm just now. Look at that.
That looks fine.
To me, it's too big.
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like that's not going to inhibit your video.
Again, this was all for me, folks, not the viewers or the people listening. Again, taking a pause out. If you're new to this channel, I am on Spotify and iTunes. Sorry, had to get that.
What's in the camera bags? Yeah.
What's in your camera bag?
The R7.
The R7.
Yeah, the R7. Honestly, the R7 is cheaper than the R6, and it's a crop sensor instead of a full frame. But I use the R7 much more.
I just love the story that you were in corporate, and now you're a camera guy. You're talking about decibels, and it's just
So a lot of
the life you put yourself into now,
right? And a lot of the camera gear, audio gear stuff, and I learned on the field working, but a lot of that also came from Evan. He is he's maniacal. He's very very keen, very smart about camera stuff. Audio stuff. I learned a lot from him in the 3 months that we worked together.
Yeah. What bike wise, are you going to put out something for this new bike that you just showed us today?
Eventually, yeah. So like the way that my channel is going to be going moving forward, just because my time is limited, since I do so much for Bikes Online, I'm going to be focusing heavily on like very quality, but almost like niche case study type topics. Like when I got the Elroy in, I was like, should I review the Elroy stock? And I immediately came up with no, because there's only two types of people that are going to be watching an Elroy review. People who are about to buy the bike, and people who already have the bike and want to be reinforced that they bought the right bike. Okay. That's a pretty small subset of people. The types of videos that I want to make moving forward are the types of videos where it's like, okay, this is a weird topic about mountain biking, but anybody would be like, yeah, I'm curious. I want to watch this. It could be a guy who's riding a Pivot. It could be a guy who's riding a Walmart bike. It could be anybody. As long as they like mountain biking, they might look at this topic and say, I'm actually pretty curious about that. So that's the angle that I'm taking with all my future topics. Are going to be case studies.
Interesting. That while you're saying this, I was thinking of this question: like, when do the ideas come? Like, are they always going, or
no? It like anything creative, it ebbs and flows. And when I have something that I think is a potential idea that could be good, I lean into my network. So again, I got on a call the night before my Century ride, called Kyle Warner with 3 topics that I had dreamt up, and I was like, "What do you think of these?" And he expanded on it a little bit and, help sharpen it. Normally, like, I'm pretty close, but I'll lean into people like that because they can be like, this isn't quite right. Do this instead. So for example, since this is in the past, I'll bring this up. So with SR Suntour, I think the original title was like this, SR Suntour shreds or whatever, like, let's just say that was the title. Kyle was like, see, the problem with that title is, although like it's good that you're excited about the product, you're essentially revealing your bias right off the top. So anybody who doesn't agree with you is not going to watch. So your title and your topic has to like have this like definitive neutrality about it, to where any rider, with any brand loyalty, whatever, might click through to see what you find out.
Yeah, wow. There is so much involved in creating these videos. I just have to talk and ask questions. You guys got the thumbnails. I mean, I have thumbnails, but there's so much that goes into this for you.
Yeah, thumbnails, like that's another thing that I learned from both. I would say both Evan and Kyle is the importance of the thumbnail. I used to just kind of like be a little bit lazy about it. I'm sure there's still a lot of room for me to grow in terms of like generating thumbnails, but my thumbnails nowadays are anywhere from normally about 2 hours of work of
Wow.
like playing with colors and the sizes of particular objects, just tweaking it over and over and over until it's like, there it is.
Yeah, but you got to do that. This is your bread and butter. A lot of people probably don't, you know,
Yeah,
like,
unfortunately, the thumbnail's so heavy, because if they don't click the thumbnail, the video never gets watched. It could be a perfect video, flawless, the
yeah.
type of video that's going to score 100% retention. But if only one person clicks out of 100, you're screwed. Like it's never going to
I'm
get
sure they
views.
have classes on that. I got to get in there. I think I have fun little lines, but
Well, my best advice for anybody, if we've got content creators still here watching the stream, is like look at your favorite big channel and figure out what you can learn and how you can emulate that, but make it your own because they know what they're doing.
oh, sorry. Someone got my watch is vibrating.
You're
Someone was
good, dude.
texting.
You're good.
Where was I going? God, you're so good at you're so deep. Oh, here it is. Is it tough to tell people that you're a content creator? Like people like me and people like some other people that I've interviewed, this is like their thing. They're a content creator. And this is your life.
Right.
So do you have
Yeah.
trouble going, oh yeah, YouTube? What?
I think it's still met with some misunderstanding pretty often, but at the same time, because of where I'm located now, I feel like it's a little bit more normalized. So yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely at first, when you're first starting, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna start doing this. People are like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to get a real job, you clown. I had family members that were like, eventually you're gonna have to do something for real. Like you can't just buy all this bike stuff and write it off because you XYZ. You got to make money. It's like, well, I am now, so
That's
yeah.
good. But it's a lot of people, especially older people, don't understand that you're not doing anything different than what's on TV. Those people on TV are content creators.
No, exactly.
But I mean,
But we become a jack of all trades, really, because we're the writers, the production team, the face. We're all of it. So yeah, you learn a lot of good skills.
Yeah, you're the one man band. But what I'm saying is YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all that stuff. You're responsible for all that, but it's content. And to explain it to older people, I feel like you just go, I'm creating entertainment. I'm creating content.
Yeah, and
People are watching me.
From the brand perspective, like for the the folks that the older heads that want to know about the dollar signs aspect of it, it's like this is what sells products now, straight up. Like this is what sells products. But to answer Octodeck, because I see this question on screen, is the aeroid good uphill with such a slack head angle? I haven't ridden it yet. But one thing that you have to take into consideration with a hardtail is that because the rear end never sags, but only the front sags, immediately upon getting on the bike, that head angle steepens, right? So like on a full suspension, the head angle is pretty much going to stay as slack as it started out because the rear suspension is compressing with the front suspension. But on a hardtail, only the front's compressing, so the head angle gets steeper, which is why on hardtails now you'll see the head angles get really ridiculous. They'll be like, yeah, it's a 62, because by the time you're on the bike, it's probably a 65.
There you go. Back to the content creator, blah, blah, blah. Where was I going? Oh, you're talking about, I was telling my wife, I was explaining to an older person, not much older. I said, how often do you watch commercials? They were like, oh, we fast forward or we watch the show.
Skip them. Yeah, people skip them.
You skip them.
Yeah.
So the content creators are actually the ones that are selling the products, the polygons. I didn't know anything about Polygon until I got onto YouTube.
Right.
I mean, it's people like you that are selling. Now, when you say you're with Polygon and stuff, you're not just doing your own YouTube stuff for them. Are you working with them, creating content with them?
So I create the content for Bikes Online and their channel, and Bikes Online is just like probably the world's biggest distributor of Polygon bikes. So the content I create isn't for Polygon.
I
It's
meant I meant Bikes Online. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, it's for Bikes Online.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but you create content with them as well as just your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I create more content for them for their channel at the moment than I do for my own. My channel at the moment is more passion driven, occasional, like I said, case studies. That's what, like, if you really want to see like a passion piece by me, that's where you go. But if you just want to see like what I'm up to and what bike I'm riding for Bikes Online right now, definitely check out that channel.
Oh, and now when you're on Bikes Online, do you have full creative control, or are you working?
I don't really get to pick the topics. No. So
Really?
we have meetings and we base it off of what we think the audience wants to see. Yeah. So there's a lot of analytics going on behind the scenes to try to figure out what our next topic is going to be, and I create the video around those topics.
Oh man, that's interesting. I didn't know that they had a channel with you on it. I just thought it was you on your
Yeah. If you go
channel.
to the Bikes Online channel, like it's
Like,
a lot of me, but we have two other presenters. We have Wendy, who's from the channel
whoa.
Josh and Wendy, and then we have Phil, who is man, what was the
James
name
and
of
I
his channel?
started
Oh,
He barely ever does anything anymore.
And we started out of a garage,
Oh,
just the two of us.
shush.
Trail
Oh,
Talk,
so-
Trail Talk MTB. That's Phil.
But look, you look here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
We are, if again, if you're just on Spotify, we're looking at Bikes Online YouTube page. Boom, your face right there.
yeah. So then there's Phil, right next to me. He's an Aussie. He's a great guy. But yeah, me, him, and Wendy from the channel Josh and Wendy, we make all the content for Bikes Online.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I just thought they sent you bikes and you did things on your YouTube.
No, yeah, man. Like I'm churning out a lot of videos.
Wow,
mostly for them at the moment. I do 3 full-length videos for them a month and 5 shorts a month. So I'm pretty active there.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Bikes Online.
There you go. So that's
so wow. So let's go back. Let's go. And maybe this is what I was going to ask you is, oh, where are you? Where's Care Cycling? There it is. You're probably putting out more content for them.
I am 100%.
You got 3 weeks.
Yeah. You can see I haven't done much, and then that Sun Tour video is like my first like official like case study type video, and it's doing pretty well. So that's why I'm going to kind of stick with that type of format.
Yeah, 43,000 views is pretty good.
Pretty solid. Yeah.
Do you look at those sometimes? Just like, yes.
Oh yeah, I was super stoked that one was churning out views. That was a great moment. It's good to throw a win on the board because like for a while, like I said, I was just putting random stuff up there and it wasn't really performing. But I was like, you know what? I've learned a lot. I've got all this equipment. I need to just like work hard and put together a really strong like portfolio type video. And that was the Sun Tour video, and fortunately it worked.
I got to ask you a question. Have you done a short? Well, because you've been since shorts happened, you've already had your audience. Or even have you looked back at a video that you've done and were like, I wish I did it now that I have a bigger audience?
No, the only if I ever was to have any sort of like regret like that, my only wish, I guess, is that I would have started everything sooner. You know, in an ideal world, I would have started in 2018 or something. Because it was easier back then. Like it really was. You know, there are people now whose channels are very big that create a videos at a certain level that if they were to join YouTube now and create videos at that same level, they wouldn't go anywhere. But it's because they were early adopters. They have a decent size audience.
The big ones. I look at some of my shorts now, and now that I have a bigger audience on Instagram, I was like, man, I wish I could re-put that out. Like I have those, like
Yeah.
it just, I got.
It's okay. Just you look at it and say, okay, what was it about this that was so good? Because like, how can I replicate it with a different topic?
Yeah,
And that's what you got to do.
because I was actually thinking about it the other night. I'm sitting there going, I had no subscribe. I still, but I mean, like barely any subscribers, barely any followers on Instagram. And I put out some what I thought was good content as reels or shorts, and I'm like, I looked at it, and it was like 43 views, and I'm like,
You never know what's going to hit,
oh.
but when it comes to reels and shorts, it's you have to be very intentional and very quick.
And it's a timing thing. It's funny. I'll have like 3,500 views, and that's a lot for me on Instagram. And then I go
That's
to
a good number.
put it on YouTube, and I get like 100. It's
Yeah.
so weird. It's all timing on these things.
Yeah, you never know what's going to hit though. It's kind of there's a lottery element to it. Like I did
Yeah.
a chain cleaning short on
Thank you.
YouTube, and that one is like well on its way to 1 million. And I don't really know why. Like it's a good clip, but I've made a lot of good shorts of similar stature, but for some reason that one just popped. You just never know. I think with that one, like maybe there was a bit of a controversy element, like the way that I clean chains is so ridiculous and so extra that people were just like, "Are you serious?" So they're all just watching it like this guy's a maniac.
And it's just a visual thing. She's seeing the oil,
The process. Yeah.
But
yeah.
I thank you, because I got to be honest with you. I wrote a bunch of notes and I left it at work, and that was one of them. Is that one is blowing up?
Yeah, that one's well on its way at 1 million, both on TikTok and YouTube.
Oh, you're on the TikTok as well.
Yeah, TikTok. Actually, I'm doing okay there. Like I wouldn't say I'm big, but I have kids that run up to me, and yes, I say kids because it's a younger crowd that come up to me and train. They're like, "Oh, I know you from TikTok." So yeah, it happens.
You're TikTok famous with the kids.
Yeah, I've got like I'm not huge. I think I have like 7,600 followers there.
Awesome.
But I have a couple that some really good ones that have performed well.
So not wrapping up, but are you happy you made this choice to become a content creator instead of we don't have any cars today?
Well, like yeah, definitely. I'm definitely glad I took myself out of that scenario.
Yeah.
But back to what we were talking about earlier, like one thing I try to lean into is like just being content wherever you're at. So am I happy? Yes. But in many ways, like it's a choice, I'm choosing to be happy. I'm looking at the positives, kind of like accepting the negatives for what they are as like a byproduct of being able to do what I do. I mean, that's anything in life. Like nothing's going to come without negatives.
And your wife is still pushing you.
She is. Yeah. She is just as much pure cycling as I am. She is, I call her the breadwinner. She works a full-time gig and she kills it. And, yeah, she supports and she's my filmer now too. So like she's
nice.
She's a beast.
Here's the people that we chose to be with and to support us.
Yeah.
Downstairs, probably falling asleep.
I spent a lot of time trying to find the right one. And I think I did a good job.
You know what? I love the fact that and your wife is probably the same, she loves that I find joy in this.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Yeah. No, she's super stoked that like I've found something that I'm passionate about and that's working and, loves to see it. That's great.
Does she get this guy? Poor. How are you doing it?
You might soon. He's just going to have to get up and go to work. I don't know what he does, but yeah,
we're not wrapping up yet. But where was it going with the wives? Does she get final say in the video? Or does she get any edit say? Does she go, no, you didn't need to say that? Or
no, not really. She'll have some advice sometimes, and sometimes I'll take it, but most of the time I won't. And I think it's just a normal husband dynamic. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. But no, she's great. She's great. And she helps. Like I said, she helps a ton with the filming. She's gotten really good at it.
Is she her worst critic when it comes to filming? She'd be like,
yeah. Because at first when we were beginning with her filming, it was a little rough. And like now she's, I guess, a little traumatized. She'd be like, yeah, I don't know if you're going to like this clip. And I'll look at it and be like, it's awesome. Like, let's roll. Next clip. Let's do it. Yeah, no,
Oh,
she's
that's
gotten
great.
really good.
And folks, I think she's riding, or she's
She
back.
she does ride. Well, she's back now, but yeah, she rides bikes, and some on days where it's like we're filming a head to head. It's funny because she'll have to hop on like, I don't know, like a large Colossus for a minute and like ride these pigs of bikes for her size. It's so funny.
um, she's home now. How
Yeah,
can
she's
I
here
ask you a
somewhere.
secret, folks? We've talked earlier before. You have what, 2 dogs? You said.
Two. Yeah, we have two Cocker Spaniels. One of them is making eye contact with me right now.
He's like,
he's just
Daddy.
he's just staring at me. Big old
I just
smile.
I just want to know how you've kept them quiet while your wife was gone.
They're pretty chill. Yeah, like they have their moments. But normally it's like right when we wake up or right when we get home from being gone for a while, they're nuts. But no, they're pretty chill.
You left us and you're back.
Yeah.
No, I
No,
can hear mine whining at the door. I don't know how he got upstairs because we actually have a gate to keep them.
Yeah, if it was just the Aspen, my female, if it was just her before we got our second dog, and it was me alone in the house, yeah, she would probably be crying and scratching at the door. But no, she's good now that she's got a friend.
Now, did you have them? Did you have them before you moved to Bentonville, or were they?
The Aspen, yes, the first dog, yeah, she lived in Louisiana for a bit. The second dog, we actually. He's from Louisiana, and we purchased him while living up here. And we had, we went down to visit home and picked him up on the way back up.
That's they love dogs.
Yeah, they're great.
I don't
I'll have to send you some stickers because one of my stickers says like "Believe in yourself" and has my two dogs on it, making the ridiculous smiley tongue out face like.
Do I have Cure Cycling stickers? Don't I?
Did I send you some?
I have so many stickers. My wife.
If not, I'll send you some though. Like the
no,
ones I printed this year have my two dogs on it, so I don't know if you have that one.
I don't know if I have some or not. I don't know if we did it. I have. It got to a point. My wife was like, "Dude, you're 51 years old and you're collecting stickers." And I'm like,
you'll just have to.
Do.
Yeah, you just got to find a nice place to put them all. Like,
oh no, I already have it built.
There you go.
I don't have a lot of space in this room. I got a Peloton and a closet and all this
Good
other.
on you.
So I built a backdrop that's going to literally probably be right behind me.
Just sticker bomb it.
I'm going to slap everyone's stickers on it.
Yeah, I'd like to do something more permanent with all the stickers I've accumulated, but I don't think we're going to be at this house that I'm at forever either. It's just kind of where we ended up.
Yeah, where you starter Bentonville house.
Exactly. Yeah, we just had to get up here, and this house we signed a lease on sight unseen because it was that hard to find a place available within our budget. So we're just like, well, we just got to sign a lease and hope it's livable. Here we go.
What are the Walmarts like up there?
They're nice. Yeah.
Are they like special Walmarts? Are they like different?
So
Walmarts?
The one in downtown Bentonville is definitely special. It's just really clean and really like tidy. I think it's considered like the corporate head Walmart. And like one time I was here on vacation before I lived here, excuse me. Oh. And they had Walmart employees from all over the world, Argentina, Japan, and they were all flocking to the inside of this Walmart taking pictures. So apparently it's pretty special. So yeah, there is a really nice Walmart in downtown Bentonville.
I just was because that's their main. Yeah, that's their hub, isn't it? That's where.
Yeah. I mean, you see the Walton family guy, like the heirs to the throne. They're out and about riding. They're cool dudes. I've met them before.
Really? Well, you went to the house.
I didn't meet them there.
Okay.
No, apparently
they just open they have an extra house that they let people.
No, so they have this house called the Applegate House. You can Google it, and they rent it to a family friend. But in the lease, apparently, you have to have X amount of parties a year. You have to. The house was designed for parties.
Nice.
So the VIP Bike Fest party happens there. Or at least it happened there this year. I don't know if it happens there every year.
I love it. You got VIP, folks.
All thanks to the Suntour crew. That, like I said, they tagged me along. It's not like I had some golden ticket handed to me or anything. They're like, nah, you're just coming with us.
Come with us.
Yeah.
And things happened in that house during that shall not be.
No, it wasn't
spoken of.
It wasn't anything crazy. But it was just like I said, a real fever dream. Wow. Because the house was weird. Like the way it's laid out, there's no doors anywhere. And all the walls and ceilings are stone. And like, yeah, I remember like walking into the bathroom. It'd be like this really round room, and there's just a toilet in the middle of it, in the middle of the room. And like I said, there's no doors, so it's just a weird
You're
layout,
like,
man.
oh, I'm in here.
Yeah, like when
Okay.
there were women that had to use the restroom or whatever, or even guys, like normally they'd have friends like blocking the hallways, like you shall not pass.
Oh,
It was
God,
crazy.
it's
Really strange layout.
it's ridiculous. Well, dude, it's getting late for you, me, your wife's probably she's home. You got the dogs.
Indeed.
I can't thank you enough, dude.
No, it's a pleasure
It's
coming on.
so interesting to hear your story and to hear what's
Yeah.
going
I
on
feel
with.
like I got a lot of interesting things to talk about. It's been a wild ride.
Yeah, you have, and I'm honored. Like I told you, I had. Oh, I'm not going to pull it up. I'm not going to embarrass myself with the other names, but I was a fan of his. I became. You know what? One of the things that I really, and I'll bring this up, and I'll let you go. You a while back, you did a podcast live stream, something about giving something back for Christmas, and I think you had the Colorado kid.
Yeah. That was in 21. We did a live toy drive, and we took whatever super chats I was given in the live stream. We turned it all around and gave it to Toys for Tots. I think we did like
Yeah,
$700 that night. It was really incredible.
and that was one of the things. That's one of the. I don't know if that's where I found you, but I think I found you before that. But then I really got to know you, your reasoning, and this guy's giving back, and
Yeah, I feel like, and I mean, this isn't any sort of call out, but I feel like a lot of big platforms underutilize like giving back. There's not a lot of like philanthropy that goes on in the mountain
yeah,
biking scene sometimes. I mean, there is.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it happens, but like, I don't know. It's cool to like give back.
But Venicava, Elias, I'll see you in a couple weeks, brother. A little late, but
Did you
glad to
get a
have you
chance
here.
to see the other Christmas special, the one I did this past year, 22?
Yes, you
Yeah,
gave the
that one was incredible.
Who did you work with again? Was that Rich Drew? Or?
Yeah, Rich came on that day, but
Mhm.
like what unfolded at the end of the tale was just like mind blowing.
I really like how that ended.
Yeah,
It had the feels.
that's one of the like,
Right.
oh man, like even when I go back and watch that video, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
It's really incredible, like those moments, like the fact that like something so small as like, oh, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel can lead to moments like that. It really it makes it worthwhile. You know what I'm saying?
That's so far back. I don't even think I can find it, but that one had the feels, as the kids.
No, it wasn't too far back. It's a little higher up. Go up. It's that one with the snowy background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a basic. That was an experimental thumbnail that I did. Just trying out some different things. But yeah, that video
here at the end when you come on, we got. I know we got
commercial.
We got to pay Jared.
Yeah, I've got something. I've got an idea. Give me a second.
Oh, give him a second. Give him a second.
The little kid was like completely starstruck and like shocked. He's still out there shredding it. He loves it. Yeah. He was just a real sweet, shy kid. So he had no clue what to do.
You know, when you got cameras in front of a kid's face and you're giving him free stuff.
No problem, dude.
Young Owen had done it. He conquered the challenges and earned the beautiful new Polygon Siskiyou D6.
Yeah, so to back this up, folks, he had to earn it, but it wasn't like he had to go run 100 miles and then.
No, it was he was predestined to win.
But yeah,
obviously I didn't need it.
But I think back then with the podcast you had or the live stream you had, I really enjoyed what you were doing, and that's I had his name. I made a list of people I wanted to interview, and Jared's one of the top guys that I had.
I'm glad it came around. Like I
appreciate it.
I noticed what's going on. I'm keen to what's going on, like in the mountain biking scene around me. I was like, I wonder if he's going to ask me at some point if I should come on. I've been waiting.
You even knew me. I'm in your land. I'm this, I'm honored that you knew who I was.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
I pay attention to our community. It's not as far as like the mountain biking like YouTube scene, it's not as big as like you think. Like I think a lot of people are aware of people that you might not think are.
Yeah. I never know who. I find it. Somebody asked me today, is it's like, aren't you going to run out of people to do? Are you going to start having to
No.
do like little kids on their little BMXs? And I go, I'll do them, but no, that's huge. But it is kind of like what you said. We all kind of have our feelers out and know.
Yeah, people are more aware than you think.
Although I do have to go to Cobra Kyle, and I
You
swear if we go, I probably am a subscriber. But there's so much.
He's good, man. He needs to get back into editing more. I think he's putting something together now, actually, about Mike's backyard. So that should be coming out soon. But yeah, he's good.
Oh, run bike Mike Mitchell.
Yep. He went up there to visit him and ride his backyard trail, and he's editing a video about that. So that should be coming soon.
That backyard is of dreams. He's. I'm kind of. I'm excited that Mike. Mike's my boy. I love Mike. So
yes, I do.
You got to ride with him, so I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, I still haven't ridden his backyard trail though. He's just far enough for me that it's kind of difficult to make the time, but I need to do it. He's like an hour and 20.
Oh, that's
not too bad.
Nothing. Folks, let me get this guy back to his wife and dogs. Dude, I can't thank you. Jared, it has been an honor and a pleasure to finally meet you and have you on my show and get to know you a little bit more, man. It's
likewise, man. Yeah, I had fun. I like these types of things.
No, you're great, and keep up the great work. Okay, one more. Yeah,
looking forward to
let's
Cobra's
hook it up
video.
because I really want to watch that video, Mike. Send him an Uber.
Yeah, I'll get out there eventually. I need to go visit him, and he's kind of close-ish to Howler, so I need to I don't know, maybe make a weekend of it and go visit all that stuff.
Go to Howler and ride.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Go. Thank you. Appreciate everybody in the comment section. Thanks for joining in.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. I had a good time.
All of his stuff, I'm sure you already subscribed and follow in Instagram. But if you're listening on the podcast, which I'll put up on Spotify tomorrow, all his stuff will be down there as well. Like and subscribe me as well, please.
Yes. Always subscribe to the man.
So, again, thanks a lot, brother. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And yeah, guys, if y'all have any remaining questions that maybe we missed, I don't know. But feel free to DM me on Instagram if you need to. I love helping out, love answering questions. So don't be shy.
Now, if you can, do what the bottom of this thing says right here. Go get your bikes dirty, folks.
There you go.
Because riding is the cure.
There you go. I like that combination. Mic drop.
Take care. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.